Major breakthroughs in Nancy Guthrie's disappearance this morning. Overnight, police did detain a person for questioning in connection to this case after a traffic stop. And just hours earlier, the FBI released haunting new surveillance video. The footage chilling. And still this morning, Nancy is nowhere to be found. Joining us right now with the latest developments in this investigation, former FBI special agent in charge and head of the Chicago PD, Jody Weiss. I want to get right into it, Jody. We want to start with this latest person that was taken into custody after a traffic stop. It went further than that, though. They also searched his house and another car. What were your thoughts about this? When you heard they had detained someone during a traffic stop, does that mean they were surveilling someone and then just decided to take them into custody?
Well, Jan, I think they were waiting for a search warrant. They wanted to have the papers so they could go in and then search his house and then search his car. So it had to be timed properly. I'm sure they had eyes on him, but this was waiting for the paper to go so they could actually execute a search warrant, a court-ordered search warrant.
We know he was a delivery driver, but we also know he was released and he talked to the media. You listened to the conversation that he had with the media earlier this morning. What was your thoughts?
He seemed very forthcoming. He basically said, yeah, they thought I matched the description. They thought it was my eyes. He goes, I gave the guys my phone. I think his mother was very cooperative. So he was very forthcoming, and hopefully we'll get him to, can wash him out right away when they verify the data on his phone.
Yeah, and you say we're going to see a lot more of these kinds of arrests perhaps happening in the coming days, perhaps?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of leads coming in from that video, and people are going to respond to those, and they're going to go out and check them out. So we're going to have a lot of incidents go out like this. We check the individual. It turns out it's not the person. But let's hope that based upon this new video release, we get some leads that actually lead to the recovery and safe return of Nancy Guthrie.
Yeah, and we also know they're doing a little bit more than just, oh, you kind of look like this person that was on this video. Because you just mentioned that's what he told, the media, that he looked like the person that might have been on camera there. Speaking of which, the Guthrie family says they do not recognize who this individual is. Someone does, though, but you said what stood out to you was that this person acted alone. Why did that stand out to you, and what else about this video can give investigators clues?
The reason it stood out to me, Jen, they were going after, or he was going after, an adult woman. 84 years old, frail physical condition. Still, that's not a 50-year-old child that you could go in, snatch, pick up, and get out. So I thought it was interesting going there by himself, but this video showed us so much. First off, this guy was a bumbler. He was not a sophisticated operator. He had no plan for the camera, none whatsoever. He's wearing a pistol in a manner I have never seen after 30 years of being around firearms, anybody wear a firearm like that. So I don't know what was going on. But from a clue perspective, look what he gave us. He gave us basically his height. He gave us his gait, how he walked. He's got eyes now, and you think, well, what's that going to do? Well, now they can get other video, and with AI, you can get some very accurate way to compare a video to there as compared to have to a video at a Circle K. But best of all, leads are going to be pouring in, because if you know me, I may have a mask on, but if you know me, you're going to be able to say, hey, that's Jody Weiss. I can tell just from his eyes, his build, how he walks. So they're going to get a lot of leads from this.
Plus, the video is pretty clear. You can see what he's wearing, and you said the backpack will be pivotal in this case. Why is that?
Well, I say that only because it's a known. Now they have something to compare with other systems. The FBI is very good about having massive databases of everything. So they can start looking and find out, okay, it's this type of backpack. Where was it purchased? Is it sold locally at a particular store in Tucson? With AI, they can go through massive amounts of video now and compare and see if somebody matches that may have bought that backpack. So again, it's another clue. It's kind of like the shoes with O.J. Simpson case. They were able to be compared based upon a massive database maintained by authorities.
Jody, this footage was only recovered after a deep dive into back-end systems because there was no cloud storage. How unusual was it to recover this video?
Jan, that was remarkable work. They went out and got search warrants. They cooperated with Google. Everybody was working together. They were able to recover some of the information and data that was on the camera. And from what I've heard lately, this guy breaking the camera may have caused all this, because from what I understand on these Nest cameras, once it breaks, it freezes. So it's not overwriting itself because Nancy Guthrie didn't have a subscription. So I thought it was just remarkable to be able to recover with this level of clarity, this video, because this could be a huge development. It is a huge development in this case.
The fact that we've not seen any proof of life and the fact that those deadlines have now passed, how does that change investigative priorities?
They really don't. The number one priority is to try to save human life. So they're going to be working really hard. Now more leads are going to be coming in. So I think they're just going to keep working hard and try to find her and follow the evidence as it leads them.
Very quickly, a lot of folks at home might be watching this and going, okay, if you're ever in a situation like this, you're in your house at night, you see something on your doorbell camera, what do you do? Do you try and hide? Do you grab a weapon? What should you do?
I'd encourage everybody to have a plan before that ever happens. You know, if nothing else, have a safe room that you can get into. Keep your old phone. Don't turn it in, because even if it's an old phone, you can always call 911. So kind of have a ready room, could be a back bedroom, wherever you could get, where you might have a flashlight, you have a firearm, you have a phone. Call 911, let them know what's going on, because then there's a recording, and let the intruder know what you're going to do if he enters your bedroom. But have a plan in place. You don't want to try to work this out as somebody's breaking into your house.
So you should yell to the intruder, I'm calling 911, I have a gun. You should say that right off the top to the intruder.
Exactly. Again, with 911, it's a recording. So if you have to use deadly force, you will know they can support your argument that this individual had the ability to hurt you, the opportunity, and the motive. And you've got a recording right there with law enforcement. So definitely call the police.
Former FBI Special Agent in Charge and head of the Chicago PD, Jody Weiss, thanks for joining us.
Yes, ma'am. Have a great day.
You too.
Criminal defense attorney Steve Greenberg joining us now to continue this conversation. And Steve, thank you for being here and sharing your expertise. Why are we now seeing these new surveillance images 10 days after this investigation into Nancy Guthrie's disappearance began?
It's pretty shocking that it took this long for them to come up with this video. It's from the Nest camera, and the purpose of the Nest camera is, of course, so that you can quickly find out what happened. From what I've heard, her Nest camera, she didn't pay the fee to subscribe so that the video would be stored in the cloud. This will be good for Nest, because I'm sure a lot more people will now subscribe to their service. But they had to send this to Google, or have Google come in and do something to recover video that supposedly had already been erased. So apparently it was fairly complicated, although I think 10 days is an extraordinarily long period of time to recover any video.
And we have been hearing that time and time again about how technical and intricate this investigation and operation has been. What is the thinking, as we zoom in here, behind calling this person a subject and not a suspect at this point? What does that indicate?
Well, they don't want to call him a suspect, because as soon as you label someone a suspect, then certain rights are going to kick in when you come in contact with them. They're going to say that you should have given them Miranda if you start questioning them right away. They're going to say that they should have had a lawyer there. You know, when you call them just a subject of an investigation, it makes it less formal, and they maybe don't want to scare someone away. Sometimes in these situations, the person who does the abduction is playing with the authorities. They think they can outsmart the authorities. So you don't want to say, aha, we're on to you.
And that's a great point, because, you know, in releasing these images, the hope is that the public comes forward with information. We know that the Guthrie family has come out on social media with videos making that plea to the community, to the nation. Are the family's online pleas, in your legal opinion, helping or hurting this case, their pleas for help?
I don't think they're really having any effect at all, one way or the other, in terms of hurting or helping the case. I'm sure that they speak to the investigators before they release the videos. I'm sure that the public is helping if they can help. People obviously will see the video, and if they know anyone, you know, there have been other cases where videos have helped. This video, it looks like the mask is pretty substantial. I don't know. They're going to look at the clothing. Maybe someone will recognize the clothing or something like that. I think it's more beneficial for the family. Maybe it feels good to them to put out these cries for help, and it can't really hurt the investigation.
Well, we hope that this footage is what it takes to really crack open this case. Criminal defense attorney Steve Greenberg, thank you for joining us tonight on the National News Desk.
Thank you.